We're back for the ever popular topic of keywords and Kindle Direct Publishing. What are the right keywords? How do you fill the 7 backend keyword slots? And will your keyword selections garner you more book sales? We're going to address all that and more in today's podcast, so make sure that you stay tuned. Hey, you know what? This broadcast is sponsored by the fine folks over at Dibbly Create. And imagine a world where your projects come to life effortlessly, where creativity knows no bounds. Welcome to Dibbly Create. It's not just a tool, it's a creative partner. Collaborate seamlessly in real time with your team, making the most of every idea. Meet Kip, the Dibbly Create AI powerhouse. From brainstorming to generating project outlines, Kip does it all. Customize text styles, formatting, and layouts to make your project truly yours. Export with ease and work offline to stay productive wherever you go. Unlock your potential with Dibbly Create. Visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/DibblyCreate and redefine how you work today. Dibbly Create, where projects come to life. I've been using Dibbly Create myself lately, and I absolutely love what I have been using it with so far. It has been phenomenal. I know they have many things that are on their roadmap, including, of course, exporting to EPUB, as well as importing docs. Really love actually them being so communicative and telling me what is on the roadmap for Dibbly Create. Well, hey, let's go ahead and discuss keywords. What are keywords? The very first thing I got to get out the gate here, a keyword is a term or a phrase that labels search volume pulled up on the Amazon Marketplace. Now, not to be confused, a keyword isn't just a single word, but often a string of words that identify a customer's interest. Now, for instance, while you might be a fitness author, simply using fitness to describe your brand is rather vague since there are varying levels of fitness. Maybe you're an author who publishes fitness books for seniors or athletes or stay-at-home mothers. Knowing your audience is critical in understanding the right keywords to use in describing you, your books, and your brand. Now, what do keywords do? Now, keywords are responsible for connecting your book with the right audience. That's it. Now, while keywords do play an important role in discovery, they are not meant as a way to sell more books overnight, as some experts would have you believe. Yes, you could find a keyword with high search traffic and low competition, but that doesn't assure you instant success. That's why you need to understand what keywords don't do. They do not sell books. They're merely a tool for directing the right traffic to your book while repelling the wrong traffic. Now, what truly sells books are a great cover, a superb book description, and tireless marketing, not keywords. I think a lot of people get things kind of mixed up and they're like, I'm not selling any books, it must be my keywords. No, it's not. If you are not marketing and promoting your book enough, no amount of keywords are going to make a difference. So I see a lot of folks that think that they can just put the right keywords in there and they can just sit back and just collect the money. No, keywords do not provide an ATM for you. All they do is it's a conduit to figure out how to sort your book amongst all the other products in the Amazon Marketplace. Now, what keywords should you select? And how do you find the right keywords? Now, I'm just going to start it out with this very brief explanation here. And if you happen to be watching this, unfortunately, there's not going to be a visual. So you're just going to need to kind of get this into the theater of your mind. The very first thing you're going to need to do is make sure that you are doing any keyword research that you have in incognito mode in a browser. So for instance, if I have a Chrome browser open that I commonly use, I would hit Control-Shift-N and it would open up in incognito mode. The reason you don't want to use just a regular browser with no incognito mode enabled is it's going to serve you the keywords that are relevant to you and not the more bigger marketplace, not the larger general audience. Now, the very next thing you're going to want to do is get DS Amazon Quick View. That's D as in Dale, S as in super. I don't know if that's what it stands for. DS Amazon Quick View. It's a free browser extension. Yes, there's an upgrade, but I've never paid a dime for the upgrade. And you'll want to make sure that you enable it for incognito mode inside the settings of your browser. And so that way, when you do open up your browser in incognito mode, DS Amazon Quick View is available. By the way, DS Amazon Quick View is only available for US to my knowledge. So what you would generally do is you go in to the Amazon Marketplace, incognito mode, you would start to search up a specific keyword. You're going to want to be mindful of the search volume, which is in the top left-hand corner of every window. It says usually 1 to 16 products of, say, 1,000 products or 100,000 products. And the other thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is this is why you have DS Amazon Quick View, so you can just do a very quick search of where the Amazon bestseller rank is going to be with a given title. And what I typically like to do is see the first 16 books that get brought up inside the search volume, and I just average out the Amazon bestseller rank to figure out the proof of concept. Are these keywords going to be relevant to my title? Sure. But I also want to make sure that it's not going to be an all-out fist fight. I'll explain that here in just a little bit here. Now, you're going to want to make sure the very first thing is build out a list of relevant keywords. You're the author, you're the self-publisher, you should know your audience and how to identify your book. Now, don't worry about searching anything, just make a giant list of keywords, all the descriptors that you have for your book. If someone came up to you and said, "What's your book about?" You've only got about 3 to say 9 words to describe your book. That's the keyword that you're going to do. Now, so you've built out this specific list of relevant keywords. The next thing you're going to want to do is open up the incognito mode, and you're going to start to look into keyword auto-suggest. So you start to type a keyword, and then it's going to auto-populate some other keywords that are related to that specific word that you're typing in there. And then you're just going to want to make sure you're taking notes of particular keywords that you find relevant. Write it on down, and you're going to start to build out this larger list of keywords. It's going to probably be like anywhere from 2 dozen to 4 dozen or even more keywords. Be very specific though. You want to make sure that the titles that are the keywords that you're selecting is appropriate to your title. So don't just kind of look at it and go, that's kind of. No, forget it. Just get rid of it. So what you'll all want to do now is, as you have this full list, you're going to want to make sure that you narrow this list down, because you're not going to want to use every single one of those keywords. So you're going to then hit search. So when you have a specific keyword, hit enter, bring up that search volume. This is how you're going to research those keywords to see if there's any proof of concept. You're going to want to find keywords with a decent product volume, meaning in the top left-hand corner, how many products do we see there? Are there hundreds of thousands, or is there a couple hundred? Knowing the product volume tells you the competition that you have available, although lower volume doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, because you want to pay attention to the average Amazon bestseller ranking of the titles that pull up. Ignore any of the sponsored product ads. You'll see sponsored next to it, so you'll want to make sure you avoid that altogether. I want to see an average ABSR of about 10,000 to 100,000. That's roughly about a dozen or so sales per day to 1 sale per day. If you find that you can probably do better than that, then don't worry about the 10K. Don't worry about the 10,000 to 100,000. But if you find the ABSR is way above that 100,000, chances are very likely that this is a keyword that's not very tapped into, that there's not too many people that are interested in what's associated with that particular keyword. So choose wisely. So you want to make sure you narrow down your list as much as you possibly can. Make sure that if you see a keyword and you say beyond a shadow of a doubt, this keyword represents what my book is about, sometimes you just got to go with your gut. If you find that there's a ridiculous, average ABSR, or you see that there's a ridiculous amount of product volume that comes with this particular keyword, it's okay to still use it, because it's a way to kind of just tell the Amazon algorithms, hey, this is what my book's about. All right, so where do you place these keywords? You've got your title, you got your subtitle, and you have your series name. What I would recommend is anytime you're utilizing keywords within those particular 3 slots right there, don't use them again inside your 7 backend keyword slots. It's redundant. I want you to think about your title, subtitle, and series name as an additional keyword slot. You don't need to double down on that. Is it against TOS, terms of service? No, not at all. You could double down if you wanted to. You can experiment if you want. They're not going to get angry about it, but it might be a waste of space. The other spot you're going to want to put it into is the 7 backend keyword slots. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a moment, but just to know that the 7 backend keyword slots, you can have up to 50 characters per slot. meaning that there is plenty of room in each one of these keyword slots. So if you happen to be using the 7 backend keyword slots with a single word, you're probably misusing it. You're not using it to its fullest advantage. You're not really leveraging it as it should be used. You want to think about keyword phrases and rather than just keyword single terms. So, at any rate, next spot, book description. Get it into the book description. You'll hear some experts out there that say, "Oh, you know, it's not indexed by the algorithm." Listen, using keywords isn't so much always about leveraging search engine traffic, getting search engine optimization. Sometimes it's about customer validation. So if someone's searching for something, a pain point of some sort that they're looking for a solution to, they're going to probably find your nonfiction book, and then they'll see a keyword that they typed into search and go, "Oh, that's exactly what I was looking for." Or in instances of fiction, same thing. That's scratching my itch. I want to go ahead and buy it. Think of it in customer validation terms. Do they index the keywords or not? There's a lot of just theories that are floating out around there. And I think at one point or another had a conversation with Dave Chesson, the Kindlepreneur. Good guy. He's actually the founder of Publisher Rocket. And he explained to me that it's actually based on a word cloud rather than the normal indexing that we're typically used to. So I'll leave it up to Dave to kind of explain all that. So you can always just hit him up and say, "Hey, what's the deal with book descriptions?" And he'll probably explain it to you. But when you do leverage the book description, what I would recommend is rather than just taking those keywords and just plopping them down into a paragraph, like, "Here's all my keywords," as they used to do back in the day, they call them tags. You don't want to do that. That can get you into a little bit of trouble. What I would recommend is that you make it organically woven in there. So you want to take your keyword terms. Don't go overboard on it. Maybe 6 to 7 good solid keywords. You're going to go ahead and organically bake it into your book description. Now, I know this can be really difficult. So if you happen to hire anybody, for instance, for any copywriting, big shout out to my boy, Brian Meeks. Brian does fantastic book descriptions. It's really, really good. But in a lot of instances, it can be somewhat difficult to try to bake in those keywords. So what I've done is I use ChatGPT, or in some instances, as we can probably will discuss here with our sponsors here, Dibbly Create, you can have AI draft a book description that includes your keyword selection. Now, before anybody gets freaking out, all right, I'm not telling AI to take over your business. And no, you do not have to declare using AI, generative AI, for your book descriptions. I was able to kind of get that sorted out with the KDP team, and they said, look, AI needs to be declared if it's within the book, on the cover or inside the book. The description, you're fine. A+ content, you're fine. All that stuff, you're good. But you'll want to double down on what you have in your 7 keyword slots if you can. And you include those keywords you couldn't fit into the keyword slots as well. So find ways you can do it. You don't want to go overboard because then it's just going to read really wonky and just kind of crazy. So just do it within reason. Now, other areas you can consider to put in your keywords include the A+ content. Now, A+ content is the from the publisher section for your product page. You can access that by going into the marketing tab in your KDP dashboard, and then you'll see drop on down, it'll say A+ content, and it'll show you all the different regions. I would recommend, I see a lot of authors that are nailing it. Chef's kiss. It's really awesome to see that you're doing image-based modules, but sometimes they get too caught up on just the image-based modules. Sure, you can put a keyword and attach that to a given image. But one thing I discovered in the Amazon advertising certification courses is that text-based and image-based modules perform the best for search engine optimization. I thought that was really kind of cool. So make sure that you're leveraging any of the text-based and image-based modules as much as possible, because that's going to drive even more traffic. Another area to consider, editorial reviews. There's a section for it. It's in the US only. You can access this through the Author Central account that you have. Go to each individual book and you'll be able to have editorial reviews. Now, I'm not telling you that you're going to go in and try to make your own editorial review, because that's just weird and kind of sketchy. But you have other areas where you can put it into. So there are book-specific author bios. I totally get it. A lot of people are like, but I've already got my author bio over on Author Central. You're telling me I can have a bio additionally for each book? Yep. That's exactly what I'm telling you. There's also additional avenues you can put for inside flaps, back of the cover, all those different things, even blurbs of some sort that you might get from other authors. So just think about that particular area there. It's one of the many that you can tap into. Now, what do you put in the 7 backend keyword slots? A lot of people ask me this all the time. And let me just give you the TLDR, all right? If you want to get more information, go over, visit Kindlepreneur. I've got a link to this inside the show notes here at dalelinks.com/7Kindle keywords. And he breaks down a full case study in which they actually worked with a number of authors and how they leveraged the 7 backend keyword slots. So what I'm going to do is give you just a basic overview of what they shared in this. You're going to want to splice any keywords with overlap. So if you find particular keywords, let's say for instance, home workout and workout plan. If we were to take those two and put them into 2 separate slots, sure, it could be effective, but it's even more effective when we put them together. Home workout plan. Great, fantastic. We're on a roll right now. What you want to do is avoid redundancies, especially if the keyword's in the title already. All right. Now, is it against terms of service? No. Again, it's not against terms of service if you happen to be redundant. I know sometimes some people are like, oh, I don't know what to put inside these keyword slots. What I would recommend is get your keywords put together and get with a few other authors that are publishing to KDP and understand this system and have them analyze the keywords that you've selected. And there's a good chance they might be able to help you sort out even other ways that you can leverage the keywords and other ways and other words and phrases you can utilize. But you want to make sure that you have 3 to 6 of the slots filled with a broad keyword match, or these spliced keywords, if you will. And then the other 3 to 4 exact match keywords, meaning that you find a keyword, you're like, this is my keyword, it describes my book to a T. That's what you're going to want to go for. Don't splice it with anything. I usually try to save like a couple slots for that. Now, more recently, Dave Chesson had shared about this wonkiness that's been going on with the KDP categories. And if you select a particular keyword, it actually increases the odds of your being placed into a category that's invite only. So that's a really neat thing. Now, next thing, build out a list with the splice keyword in the top. So let's say, for instance, we've got all these keywords. We've got some of the overlap ones. What I will do is I will put the specific keyword phrase that's spliced together at the very top of a line. And below that line, I will put the individual keywords. The reason that I do this is when I come back to my keyword list later on and I want to change it up a little bit, I'll research those particular keywords I chose before. So that way, you know what you used inside a keyword term. All right, we filled that slot. It's really easy to forget those type of things. So having that available is going to help you out with research later. Oh, by the way, date your stuff. Now, remember, keyword relevance ebbs and flows with most search engines online. What's hot today might not be tomorrow. So how often should you change your keywords? Do not change if you're seeing significant sales volume. If you must change any, do one at a time and monitor your sales volume closely. Now, I like to kind of look at it maybe 90 days at the soonest to 1 year. If there's no problems, I'm seeing great sales, I don't touch those keywords. Now, a lot of you are like, wait a second, Dale, you've talked a lot about Publisher Rocket in the past. Are you telling me I shouldn't get it? Hey, if you've got the $97 to get the lifetime membership, go ahead, get it. I highly recommend it. It takes all the guesswork out of your keyword research so you can focus on other things like writing your next book or marketing your current book or backlog. Keep in mind though, I typically still use Publisher Rocket in coordination with some of the steps that I originally had shared with you, which includes DS, Amazon Quick View, and incognito mode. Now, more recently, the Publisher Rocket team rolled out a new keyword feature in the category research tool, so you can increase your likelihood of placement in the inaccessible or invite-only categories. So that part's really nice. By the way, if you want to get access to Publisher Rocket, you can go visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/rocket. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Alrighty, as we start to wrap up things, I want to give a big shout out to Dibbly Create. Elevate your projects with Dibbly Create's powerful collaboration and AI-driven innovation. Get free or premium access when you visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/DibblyCreate. And by the way, you can get a 7-day free trial of the Pro plan when you do visit that link as well. I highly recommend that you give it a shot. Here are my final thoughts. Don't overthink keywords, folks. While it's smart to do some research into the right keywords, ultimately you should spend a bit more time on marketing and promoting your book so you build relevance in the Amazon algorithms for the terms you select. Nothing builds relevance on Amazon better than cold, hard sales. If you're wondering whether you picked the right keywords or not, send a ton of traffic to your product page. If it's not converting many new customers, then analyze your book cover and book description. Don't sweat the keywords as much. Remember, keywords don't sell books. A good cover design does that. A description that's compelling will sell your book. You just gotta supply the customers to build the relevance for those keywords. Now, if you want a deeper dive into the world of keywords on Amazon, be sure to pick up a copy of my 5-time award-winning book, Amazon Keywords for Books, when you visit dalelinks.com/keywordsbook. It's available on every major online retailer and library. Go to your local library and request it. They actually will be able to provide it because I've got it through Overdrive, Biblioteca, Hoopla. The list goes on. There's so many ways you can get a hold of this, so there's no excuse whether you're cash strapped or you've got enough to go ahead and buy that. dalelinks.com/keywordsbook. Just a quick heads up that I'll be taking the next week off from the podcast, but we'll make a return the week after next when we'll be breaking into the new podcast series, Publishing Audiobooks for Beginners. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll chat with you soon.